All right, so ESPN released their top 100 player list for the 2022 NBA season. And really, all we're going to talk about is the top five. I think that's all that really matters at the end of the day. Everything else is pretty subjective and splitting hairs, so who cares? So off rip, we got Giannis at number one. I think that was a no-brainer. If you don't think Giannis is the number one player in the league at this point, you're delusional, and you're probably like Gilbert Arenas, and all you care about is skills and dribbles and hezzy tweens. I don't want to. I don't want to talk to you if that's how you look at basketball. So not even going to spend too much time on Giannis. It's obvious. Next up, which was a little bit of a surprise to people, but Jokic is number two. And honestly, originally that wasn't my thinking going with Jokic, but I think ESPN got it right with Jokic. I think he just makes such an impact on your team in every aspect. Even his defense is a lot better than he's given credit for. And just the way he willed the Nuggets to the sixth seed in the insane Western Conference. I think after you look at that, it's kind of hard to say that he's not at least a top three player. But I think number two is more than warranted for him. All right, and then next up we got Luka Doncic at number three. And again, I think this is the perfect spot for him. He impacts the game in so many ways. He makes okay players look great. He kind of reminds me of Steve Nash in like a 6'7", 6'8" body. Just in the sense of the way that he improves players' ceiling. Like he raises other players' ceilings. Like players that you might have thought, oh, they're decent, they're pretty good players, and then you look at them and you're like, they're better than I thought, and it can be a little deceiving sometimes. I think he makes players look a little better than they actually are, but he has that effect on players, and I think when you're able to make your teammates look that great, when in actuality they probably aren't. A lot of those players prior to getting with Luka Doncic were not viewed as highly as they are now. Like Dorian Finney-Smith got paid. He's not a bad player, but playing with Luka has drastically increased his stock. Who's Maxi Kleber? Maxi Kleber is probably he's a decent rotation player, but playing alongside Luka Doncic, he got paid. Dwight Powell, decent NBA player, bench player, but next to Luka Doncic, he looks great as a role man because there's not much you have to do when you have a playmaking, guy like that on your team. You have a guy who's shades of Steve Nash, who's shades of LeBron James in different aspects of the game. He controls it in every single way. If you watch that game 7 last year against the Phoenix Suns and just watched how he completely controlled the game, I think that alone would warrant this spot at number three. So Luka Doncic at number three, I think is the correct call. Now, number four and five spots on this list are the ones where I thought were a little bit shaky, but even still, I think at the end of the day, taking out all bias and taking out, the feelings, taking how you feel about the game or whatever, like taking that out of it, I think they got it right again. I think Joel Embiid here should be over Steph Curry at number four. There is no matchup for Joel Embiid. You cannot guard him one on one. He is a modern day Shaq with a face up game. You know, if you one on one, if you go one on one against Joel Embiid, it's going to be a long night. There's no one player in this league who can guard him. So you have to send a double. So every night he goes out there, he knows that you have to bring an extra man to defend him, or he's going to get 40 and 15. That alone, that's offense alone, like by itself. That's offense right there. You're getting open shooters, you're getting the floor space for people, just so many other opportunities open up for other people. And I think going into every game knowing that that's the type of looks you're going to get, passing out of double teams, and you're going to get a favorable matchup on the other side of the court, that's just something great to have on the court every single night you play. And as for Steph Curry being five, aside from coming off of a championship, finally got his Finals MVP that he deserved. I feel like he got even more of the recognition that he already should have gotten. But I think he's perfect at five. because I think a lot of these other guys, they impact the game in a lot of other ways. And I'm not saying that Steph Curry doesn't. I just think like Giannis, Joel Embiid, even Jokic to a certain extent, they have pretty good impact. Well, I won't put Jokic in that, but Joel Embiid and Giannis, they have insane impacts on the defensive end. They have insane impacts on rebounding. Steph Curry just cannot do that, unfortunately, due to his height, and that's not something that he could change. But I mean, we have to be real about it. Basketball is a sport where it leans towards taller players typically. The taller a player is, the more likely they're going to be better at this sport. I think even going up through the smaller ranks in basketball, going through middle school and high school and college, like you see it, the taller players usually have better success rate at this sport. So just simply because Steph Curry cannot impact the game in blocking shots and rebounding the way Giannis and Joel Embiid do, and I mean rebounding, Jokic and Luka Doncic both are flirting with double digit rebounds. Well, Jokic gets it, but Luka is flirting with it. Like these guys are able to rebound, and some of them, affect the game defensively. And unfortunately, Steph Curry is not able to do that. Although his offense would probably be comparable or better than I mean, all four of those guys ahead of him. If you want to, you can make that case that he might be better offensively than those guys. Which I mean, I might argue against, but I'm not mad at anybody arguing for it. But still, I think just because of his size, and he needs Draymond. Like he needs Clay on the wing to get the better defender. He needs those other things around him, and I feel like these other four guys ahead of him, they have shown and they can do it by themselves because of how many other aspects of the game that they impact. Now, I don't want people to take this as me saying that Steph Curry is just a scorer and only a scorer. I'm not an idiot. I absolutely understand that Steph Curry is more than just a scorer. But yes, unfortunately, he is a little limited. So I think 5 is where he should be. And even saying that, I think that he has a great chance to repeat again in the finals next year. But if he runs into my Bucks and Giannis and Chris Middleton are healthy, that he's not winning. But he definitely has a great chance to get back to that stage again.